Have you ever seen someone who always seems to have their house in order, their day running smoothly, everything in its place, and wondered how they manage it? The truth is, there's no magic formula, but there is routine. And what differentiates these organized women from those who are constantly putting out fires isn't perfection, it's consistency. There are certain habits they repeat every day, almost without realizing it, that keep the house functioning with more ease. These are simple, quick things, but they make all the difference by the end of the week. And the good news? You can copy all of them starting today. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 attitudes that organized women practice daily and that sustain organization without excessive effort. And the third tip is the most ignored of all, but probably the one that most prevents your house from staying tidy. Stay with me until the end, because these are small changes with real results. Have you ever felt tired just by looking at your house? The dishes in the sink, clothes to put away, things out of place, and it seems like the more you tidy up, the more mess appears everywhere. Then you look at social media and see women with houses that are always impeccable, routines on track, everything working. And you ask yourself, what do they have that I don't have? The truth is that organized women aren't superheroes. They also have difficult days, work, take care of children, get stressed. But there's one thing they do differently. They create simple habits that sustain organization. And these habits repeat every day, even when the day is rushed, even when there's no time to do everything. They understand that to keep the house in order, you don't need to do everything all the time. You need to do a little with consistency. And the most interesting thing is that these attitudes aren't difficult. Many are quick, easy to apply, and have an enormous effect on the feeling of organization, control, and lightness within the home. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 things that organized women do every day without overload, without infinite task lists, without guilt. These are actions that, when they become habits, change the way you live in your house. And the best part? You can start applying them today in your own way, at your own pace. Oh, and pay attention to the 4th tip, because it's the most ignored and at the same time the one that most influences your well-being at home. So breathe. Take this content as a gift, not as pressure. Because real organization isn't about controlling everything. It's about creating an environment that helps you, not one that tires you. Tip 1. They make their bed every single day without skipping. You can notice that in almost every organized house, the bed is always made. And it's not a coincidence. This simple habit is one of the first that organized women make sure to maintain, because it sets the tone for the day. When you wake up and make your bed, even if the rest of the house is still messy, the bedroom already transmits a feeling of care, of beginning, of structure. Making the bed isn't about aesthetics. It's about starting the day with a small act of organization that spreads to the rest of the house and mind. You already begin with one task accomplished, with something in its place, and this directly influences how you deal with the rest of your obligations. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It's not about hotel-style folding, symmetrical bedspreads, or matching pillows. It's just stretching the sheet, adjusting the pillows, and leaving the space visually light. It takes about 2 minutes, but the impact is enormous. In fact, if the rest of the room is a mess, a made bed already gives the feeling that everything is under control. The brain interprets that corner as being in order, and this reduces visual stress. This habit also has another effect. When you return to the bedroom at the end of the day, you find a space that invites you to rest, a cared-for space. And this makes a difference even in the quality of your sleep. Organized women understand that there's no general organization without organization of small things. And making the bed is the first step, simple, quick, and powerful. Tip 2. They don't let the sink accumulate, even if it's just to organize. You can notice that women who keep their houses in order have special care for the kitchen, and especially for the sink. Even when the day is rushed, even when the rest of the house is in motion, the sink stays controlled. Not necessarily empty all the time, but under control. The difference is that they don't let the dishes turn into a mountain. And more than that, they understand that organizing the sink already brings relief. Even if not everything gets washed at that moment, separating the plates, putting silverware to soak, stacking carefully, rinsing what's possible, all of this already changes the visual and energy of the kitchen. And there's more. Keeping the sink clean or at least organized prevents the domino effect of mess, because when the kitchen looks chaotic, the desire to continue caring for the house disappears. Mess calls for more mess. Now, when you care for that central point, the rest flows more easily. This care also has to do with well-being, because a clean or organized sink transmits lightness. It gives the feeling that you're in control of the routine, even if the day is far from perfect. And here's something interesting. It doesn't need to be you who always washes everything, but when you have this mindset of not letting things accumulate, this becomes a habit throughout the house. Whether alone or with family, this simple attitude changes the dynamic of the environment. Organized women don't let the sink become a problem. They care for it every day, even if just for a few minutes, and the whole house thanks them for it. Before we go to the next tip, take advantage and subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. This way, you won't miss any new tips that will help you keep your house lighter, organized, and with your personal touch in a practical, real, and possible way. Tip 3. They put things away when they use them, not later. This is one of those habits that seems obvious, but is exactly what sustains real order. Organized women don't leave for later what they can put away now. They don't spend their lives organizing. They prevent mess from forming. Used the hairbrush, put it back, took a blouse from the closet, already decided whether to use it or put it away, used the charger, returned it to the same corner as always. These are small attitudes that prevent accumulation, and this changes everything. Because what causes the feeling of mess in most houses isn't dirt, it's the excess of things out of place. A cup here, a purse dropped there, folded clothes that didn't return to the closet, and little by little the environment that was peaceful becomes loaded. The secret is to act in the flow. You don't need to stop what you're doing to tidy up. Just return things to their place while you live. It's a light, natural, almost automatic movement. And when this becomes a habit, mess stops existing in the volume that overwhelms you. And here's an important point. For this to work, everything needs to have its place. Organized women don't waste time thinking about where to store things. They already know. This saves time, energy, and helps you keep the environment breathing. When you start returning each thing to its place, the moment you finish using it, your house starts collaborating with you, and you stop living in that tiring cycle of having to tidy everything up all the time. This is the habit that over time gives you freedom, because the less you accumulate, the less you need to deal with later. Tip 4. They choose what won't stay in sight. Organized women understand that keeping the house in order isn't about hiding mess. It's about choosing what deserves to be visible. It's a conscious choice made every day. They know that the more things scattered around, the more loaded the environment seems. And the harder it is to maintain the feeling of lightness. This means you don't need to have an empty house without personality. but rather know what makes the environment functional and what's there just taking up space, what helps and what just complicates. Because in the end, not everything needs to be on display. And you know what the effect of this is? The house starts to breathe, the furniture seems more organized, the countertops are free. The visual calms down, and most importantly, this reduces the time you spend tidying up because there are fewer things to get out of place and fewer things to put back later. This applies to the living room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. Instead of leaving everything on the sink or on top of the table, they define support spaces. A tray with basic items, an organizing box, a specific drawer. Less is more, especially when the less is intentional. And here's the most powerful detail. This attitude doesn't require money. You can start today by looking around and asking yourself, does this really need to be here? If the answer is no, put it away, free it up, test the space without it for a week, and see how you feel. Organized women know that organization isn't about storing everything. It's about deciding what deserves to occupy space. And this habit completely changes how you see and feel your house. Tip 5. They have a mini end-of-day closing ritual. You know that moment before sleeping when everything seems to slow down. Organized women take advantage of this moment to do something that almost no one pays attention to. An end-of-day closing ritual. And no, it's not a big cleaning session. It's a quick walk through the house for 5 to 10 minutes to close the day in a light and conscious way. They pass through the living room and align the pillows, check the kitchen and rinse that last mug that was forgotten. They turn off the right lights, close the curtains, adjust the blanket on the sofa, take that last look at the space, as if saying, everything's okay, tomorrow will continue. And you know what this creates? A feeling of peace. The house doesn't go to sleep in chaos. It prepares itself with you for the next day. When you wake up and find everything minimally in place, you already start with more clarity, more lightness, and less rushing. This ritual also prevents that feeling of accumulated mess that greets you first thing in the morning, because what was done the night before already softened the environment. And the most beautiful thing about this is that it's a gesture of care for your space and for yourself. You don't need to do 1,000 things. It could just be putting away the TV remotes, collecting a cup from the table, stretching the blanket on the sofa, turning off a light. Small gestures with great emotional and visual impact. It's like leaving the house ready to welcome you again the next day. Organized women understand that the house doesn't need to be tidy all the time, but it needs to have a rhythm. And when this rhythm is respected, mess doesn't dominate and peace is maintained. This ritual is the house's good night, and it makes more difference than it seems. See how organized women don't perform magic? They make conscious choices every day. They don't spend their lives tidying up, don't have extra time, and don't always get everything right. But what they do have is clarity. They create simple habits that keep the house functioning without overload, without perfectionism, and without guilt. Making the bed early, keeping the sink under control, putting away what was used, choosing what stays in sight, and ending the day with a light ritual of care. These are small actions, but when done consistently, they change the dynamics of the house and your energy too. And most importantly, you can start today. You don't need to apply everything at once. Choose one of these attitudes, just one, and test it tomorrow, then another. And like this, little by little, you build a routine that embraces you, supports you, and makes your house serve you instead of tiring you. Now tell me, which of these 5 attitudes do you already do, and which will you start practicing? Write to me here in the comments, and if you have a habit of your own that helps keep the house lighter and more functional, share that too. It'll be incredible to exchange experiences with those who are on this same journey. Oh, and before you leave, take advantage and subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Every week, I bring practical and possible tips to help you care for your house with more clarity, less pressure, and much more lightness. Because in the end, being organized isn't about having everything in its place. It's about living better in the place where you are.